Hi everyone, so today we are going to go through some Twitter questions that you guys have sent me in. I tweeted out asking you for all your questions and there's quite a lot on here, so we're going to try and get through them all. The first question that comes up is from Fran Bishop. So Fran Bishop is a fellow Apprentice candidate and she has asked, on a scale of 1 to 10, how much do you miss Fran and Grania? I would say a solid 4. No, I'd say 10 out of 10 on that one. Okay, so this one is a baking-based question. Do you think the baking industry is shooting itself in the foot by following trends? I think it's always going to be an industry that follows trends. I don't think it's shooting itself in the foot. No, I think it's the sort of thing that you can't really answer because ultimately it's always going to follow trends because that's just the way. I think there is a massive trend to do with healthy eating at the moment, and obviously that is a huge thing that's taking over. But I don't know whether I'd say it was shooting itself in the foot. Okay, next is from Joel Williams, who says, what's the single most important lesson you've learnt in setting up your own business? Okay, so someone's answered underneath, weird. So I would say the best lesson I've learnt is to have a goal. I think what I was doing before was very much working hard but not really working towards anything, and I think the second I realised where I wanted to get to, everything just started falling into place. That was actually a bit of advice that was given to me, so yeah, sharing that wisdom. What was the first thing you learned to bake? The first thing I made was a really terrible cheesecake that I decided to make using cheddar cheese, which was an absolute disaster. My mum would just let me go and bake on my own, and yeah, it wasn't good. Who's my baking inspiration? I don't really have one. I think I've just loved baking from an early age, and it's not to do with any particular baking personality. I just love baking. That being said, I do love Mary Berry. Who doesn't love Mary Berry? Do you ever experience self-doubt with plans with your business, and if so, how do you deal with it? Yes, I think anyone that watches The Apprentice would know I do massively have self-doubt, but I think winning has kind of given me a bit of a confidence boost and the confidence I need to stop second-guessing myself all the time. But it's still there. I think if you're someone that has self-doubt, you're always going to have it. I definitely second-guess the decisions I make a lot, and it takes me quite a long time to make a decision because I'm battling with myself sometimes, but it's not as bad as it was, so yeah. What was my biggest baking disaster? That cheesecake. Does baking in Aberystwyth make the cakes taste better? From Tash Hill. Yes, it does. If I couldn't bake, what else would I do? From someone called Squid Eye. I don't know, I wanted to be Baby Spice when I was younger, so maybe I would be Baby Spice. Would you ever want to host Bake Off? I'm definitely focusing on the business at the moment. I definitely get asked this a lot, and I mean, it would be fun and amazing, but I just don't have time for stuff like that, so maybe in the future I would want to do something like that. Someone's asked if I've ever used plain flour instead of self-raising flour. That was Beth Miller. Yes, I have. Looking back, what advice would you give yourself when you first started self-employment? I would give the advice that someone's recently given me, and that's to set yourself the goal and know where you're trying to get to, definitely, because I was just a busy fool, I think. How important is it that your products are still made in Wales? And do people respond well to handmade in Wales? I said on The Apprentice it was incredibly important. We've kept the production in Wales and it's going to stay in Wales. That is a big part of the USP of the brand and what makes my brand what it is. So yes, it started in a country kitchen in Wales, so yes, it's very important. What do you find are the most and least enjoyable aspects of running your business? From Simon Haytack. I think the most enjoyable part of the business is striving towards something. I think now I know where I'm going, I'm finding it incredibly exciting. The worst parts of running the business, I mean, it is all consuming. I've got a holiday booked, and that's our first holiday that I've ever had since I've been an adult. So it takes literally every hour. But I don't mind that because it's all I've ever wanted. But yeah, it does, sometimes it can be a little all-consuming. Have I ever tried any other business ideas? Have you always stuck to baking? I have, yes. I've had many a small business when I was in school. So first I started with a card business, and we basically would make I started it and then I employed my friend. We'd make the cards together and then we would sell them to the teachers, and I actually fired my friend from that business because she was a little slow with the Pritt stick. I've done a few other things as well since then, but the cakes was where it took off. So Chloe Drops has said, if you could give any advice about the Apprentice process, what would it be? Don't do it. No. I'd say that there are big characters in there, and be aware of that if you are going into it. It's a TV show, so things take longer than you expect, and it's a grueling process. When they say you're up at 3, you really are up at 3, and you're often not back until midnight, so it's yeah, I don't know if I'd willingly put myself through it again. Okay, one more Apprentice question. If you didn't win the Apprentice, who do you think should have instead? I don't know, everyone in that final 5 was very good, but I don't know, it's tough. Any of those final 5 I would have been happy with winning. They're all amazing people and they've all got very strong businesses, so yeah. And okay, finally, one more question. Someone has asked, do I ever think I'll make free-from products in the future? There is a massive growing problem with people becoming gluten-free, and I definitely want to. The issue that we've got at the moment is to produce a free-from product, you have to make it in a free-from facility, and we're not at that point. So that's not my brand and that's not what I'm about. However, I know that there is need for it. So it's something I'm always thinking about, but until that point comes where we can do it, then we just can't do it. But it's something I'd want to do in the future. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I'm sorry if I didn't get to answer all of the questions, but if you've got any more questions, then you can always tweet me. And if we get great response, then I'll do one of these again in the future. So don't forget to subscribe, like and share, and I'll see you next time.